Everyone, and welcome or welcome back. Today I'm going to be going over 10 standalone book recommendations of various genres. I have some fantasy, romance, thriller, I have a horror. Most of these are just standalones, but a few of them are a part of interconnected standalone series. So there are other books in the series, but you don't have to read them. But let's get started with the first book, which is The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. And this one is a mystery thriller. And the mystery in this one revolves around a teen girl who disappears from her summer camp. But this isn't just any girl. She is the camp owner's daughter, and she is also the sister of a boy who disappeared 14 years prior. The search begins, drama unfolds, and long-held secrets are revealed. This one is multi-POV, multi-timeline, but I didn't find it difficult to follow. It tells you at the top of each chapter who you're following and what year you're in. And I liked the time jumps in the multi-POV. I thought it gave good insight into the family. We get to see the family history. We see the workings of this super wealthy family going all the way back to when the parents were young. And this just unravels to reveal all these long-held secrets and deceptions. I'll be honest, the ending of this story isn't my favorite, but it wasn't like bad. It wasn't enough to make me dislike this story, and the rest of it is very compelling. I recommend checking this one out if you want a mystery thriller with drama and deceit and shocking twists. The second book is The Apple Tree by Kayla Rose. And in this one we follow Drew, and Drew's best friend River blindsides her on the night of her 18th birthday and tells her that after graduation he is leaving to go and travel. Before he leaves, they come up with this plan to meet back at their favorite spot 12 years later on Drew's 30th birthday. The spot that they're planning to meet at is an apple tree in a meadow where they have hidden objects and letters that they plan to look back on when they meet up. And we just follow Drew on her journey from that point forward. I'm going to warn you, this one has a bittersweet happily ever after. So if you don't like that, this one is not going to be for you. This one is a roller coaster of emotion. It's heartbreak, happiness, hope, repeat. It will have you sobbing. If you're looking for something very emotional, then this will definitely do that for you. But this is a beautiful story of friendship and our main character Drew finding her way and figuring out what truly matters in her life. Check this one out if you want something that's really emotional with a great journey of this character trying to figure out her life and dealing with all of the heartbreak and happiness that comes with it. Number 3 is Blood Over Brighthaven by M.L. Wong, and this is a sci-fi fantasy. Sayana has spent the last 20 years devoted to her studies in magic. This pays off when she becomes the first ever woman to be admitted as a high mage, but she ends up finding herself constantly undermined. She's given a janitor named Tommel as her lab assistant. Tommel comes from an indigenous tribe outside of the city, and the indigenous people living in Brighthaven are treated very poorly. They are given terrible working and living conditions. A blight is killing those living outside of the dome of Brighthaven, and Tommel hopes that this will be his chance to figure out what's going on with this blight. And the two of them discover a secret that could change everything. This one has a really interesting magic system that uses these typewriter-like machines that create spell webs that siphon power that they use for pretty much everything. I thought this one had interesting and unique characters. Sayana is a flawed and complicated character for sure. There's good conversations on taking down the system, oppression, privilege, among other things. This was one of my favorite reads of last year. It was 5 stars. And it will have you thinking about it even after it's over. I recommend checking this one out if you want a unique magic system and world, complicated characters, and a story that will stick with you. Number 4 is Don't Let the Forest In by C.G. Drews, and this is a YA horror. We follow Andrew, who is going back for his senior year at boarding school. Andrew writes horror stories that he only shares with his best friend Thomas, and Thomas illustrates the monsters from Andrew's stories. When Andrew arrives at school, he notices that Thomas is acting weird. He finds out that Thomas's parents have vanished, and Thomas arrives at school with blood on his sleeve. Thomas refuses to talk to Andrew about this, and every time it's brought up, he shuts down. One night, Andrew follows Thomas into the off-limits forest, where he finds his friend battling the monsters he has illustrated from Andrew's stories. The boys have to keep battling these monsters every night to keep them from hurting anyone else. I really enjoyed the writing in this. I thought it was beautiful. The story felt really detailed and alive, and I thought the horror elements were unsettling and creepy, but without being too gory. I'm not good with gore. I thought the characters were well fleshed out. This has great queer rep in it. There's also illustrations that I really loved that really added to the story. It had me excited and nervous and really wanting to keep reading. This was another of my favorites of last year, another 5-star. Read this one if you want a YA psychological horror that's beautifully written. And the ending will definitely have you questioning everything. Next up is The Thrashers by Julie Soto. And this one is a YA mystery thriller. We follow Jody, who is a high school student and a member of the popular group called The Thrashers. A girl who desperately wanted to be a part of the Thrashers dies, and whispers about the Thrashers begin. They start receiving eerie messages, and strange things occur that point to Emily not yet being done with them. I gave this one 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I actually ended up really liking some of these characters and wishing that there would be more books, which isn't something that happens super often for me for a thriller. I think this is one I would have liked better when I was younger, but still an exciting mystery with drama, secrets, and shocking reveals. Check this one out if you want an exciting, fast-paced mystery thriller with some surprisingly lovable characters. Number 6 is Our Infinite Fates by Laura Steven, and this is a YA romantasy. And in this one we follow Evelyn, who remembers all of her many past lives, and that in every one, by her 18th birthday, she is hunted down by Arden, and he either gets rid of her or she gets rid of him. But either way, their lives are connected and they both are gone. But she really wants to stick around for this lifetime to give a bone marrow transplant that her little sister needs to survive. But her 18th birthday is approaching. She searches for Arden, hoping to find out why they're connected, why this is happening, and how to break this curse. I gave this one 3.5 stars. It's not a favorite, but I would still recommend it. My biggest issue with this is I wish we had seen more of each lifetime rather than just kind of seeing how it ended. So I had a hard time getting connected to the characters because of that, and I didn't really get connected to them until the end of the story. But the writing style in this is really beautiful. The story is heartbreaking but beautiful. I definitely think this is worth trying if you would like something that's finding each other in every lifetime and a heartbreaking curse that keeps them apart. Number 7 is Ask for Andrea by Noelle W. Ely. This one is another mystery thriller. But in this one, we actually follow the victims. We follow 3 ghosts of women who were all murdered by the same man. They find each other and are hoping to be able to get justice for themselves and to stop this man from hurting anyone else. This one was a 5-star. This is probably my favorite thriller. I thought it was really interesting to know from the beginning what actually happened, and we're following the victims to see if they're able to stop him and if they get justice. And because we're following the victims, I feel like I got more attached to the characters than I usually would in a thriller. This was haunting and heartbreaking, and I just really found myself cheering for these women. This one has a prequel called Forget You Saw Her. You don't have to read both, but I do recommend both. I gave them both 5 stars. Read this one if you want a unique mystery thriller that will have characters that you will actually get attached to and be invested in. Alright, now we're getting into more of the interconnected standalone series. The first one is Juniper Hill by Devney Perry, and this is the second book in the Eden series. And this one is a romantic suspense, and we follow Memphis and Knox. Memphis arrives in her new home of Quincy, Montana, after driving cross-country with her newborn, hoping to put her past behind her and start a new life. She gets a job at the Eloise Inn and lives in an apartment above Knox Eden's garage, who is her boss's older brother. And Knox is kind of a grumpy loner. He's not super thrilled to have someone else living near him. I've read 3 books in this series, and I didn't love the other 2 that I read, Indigo Ridge and Garnet Flats. You don't have to read the rest if you don't want to. The first book in the series, Indigo Ridge, was like 3 stars. It was okay. I wouldn't say I'd recommend not reading it, but I also wouldn't actively recommend it. I just felt like the thriller part of the story and the romance, neither one of them were like really well fleshed out. Both plots felt kind of rushed for me, but by the end I did end up liking the characters. The characters from the first book are briefly mentioned in this second book, but it's just like a glimpse of them. You're not going to be confused if you haven't read the first book. And then the third book is my one and only ever DNF. I am not a fan of that book at all, and I may continue on in this series. I haven't decided. Like I said, I could just skip that third book and continue on. You don't have to read them all, but I do definitely recommend the second book. I really enjoyed it. It was 4 stars. I thought the couple had great chemistry. I really loved them both. Knox is this kind of grumpy loner, but he's also really kind and thoughtful. And Memphis is a single mom who is just doing her best and trying to make a good life for her and her son. There is also the suspense subplot, like I said, and I did enjoy that, but the couple is the best part of the story for sure. Read this if you would like a romantic suspense, grumpy sunshine, single mom, small town. Number 9 is Face Off by Chelsea Curto, and this is the first book in the DC Stars series. And these are hockey romance interconnected standalones. We follow Emmy and Maverick, who are both hockey players for the same professional team, the DC Stars. And the two of them get off to kind of a rocky start. And Emmy is also dealing with being the first woman to be a professional hockey player and everything that comes with that. I've only read this first book. It was 5 stars. I really loved this. And I will continue on in the series because I loved it, but you don't have to. I love Emmy and Maverick. They have great banter, great chemistry. I also really liked the subplot of seeing Emmy dealing with being a woman in professional hockey. This has a great found family. I really loved the side characters. And if you continue on in the series, you'll see their stories as well. Check this one out if you want a strong, independent FMC with a great found family and an interesting plot outside of the romance. The last book is Wild Reverence by Rebecca Ross, and this is a romantasy. And we follow Matilda, who is a goddess, and Vincent, who is a mortal. Vincent dreams of Matilda even though they have never met, and they end up meeting in his dreams as kids, and they become friends. Circumstances end up separating them and keeping them apart for many years. Vincent writes to Matilda on the worst night of his life, hoping that she can help him. But when she doesn't answer, he becomes very cold and irreverent. Years later, Matilda, who has messenger magic, tumbles through Vincent's window with a letter for him. This is technically a prequel for the Letters of Enchantment duology, but you don't need to read the others. But I do recommend them all. That's one of my favorite series of all time. But this book is great on its own as well. This has beautiful writing and an enchanting atmosphere. This has a beautiful love story with great yearning. I really love the main characters and some of the side characters, especially Bane. This one is more romance forward, but I did enjoy the fantasy plot that we got. I recommend this one if you want something with a beautiful love story over many years, an atmosphere that pulls you in, and characters that you will really grow to love. But that's going to be all of the books in this video. Let me know if you have any standalone recommendations down in the comments below. I will leave my Goodreads and my Instagram in the description if you're interested. I would really appreciate it if you check them out. But that's going to be the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it, and I hope to see you all in the next one.